Welcome to Between the Polls, the podcast where we dive deep into the heart of the poll community. I'm your host, Caroline. Here, it's not just about the tricks and the spin, it's about the stories, the people, and the connection that make our community so special. Every episode, we sit down with poll artists, studio owners, and inspiring members of the community to talk about their journeys, challenges, and passions. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's get real. This is Between the Polls. Hi, Peachy. Welcome to Between the Polls. How are you today?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing really well today. It's been like the hottest day in May in history in the UK.
Has it?
Yeah, it has been. It's like 28 degrees, which is not what we have
Wow.
in the UK at all for this time of year. So I've been sitting outside, just chilling, enjoying life.
I get that. I am in Canada, so right now it is 18 degrees where I'm at. So it's nice weather, but it's by no means I can put a bikini and go tan outside kind of weather. I'm really excited to have you on. I have a feeling that a lot of our viewers and our listeners will know who you are and follow you. I also find you so interesting, and we're going to kind of get to all of that good stuff. I start the podcast in the same way for everybody. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got to poll, how years have you been polling, and just a little bit about like your poll journey in general?
hmm Well, in the UK anyway, I feel like my story, how I started, is pretty typical. I feel like a lot of people that I know also like went into it the exact same way as I did. Basically, I started during university. A lot of our universities have they offer pole dancing classes because we have like a society. You know how you have like sports clubs, like activities and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
so there's lots of universities who have like a pole dancing society. And so,
Wow.
yeah, really cool. And it gets really big. Like we had national competitions, we had like varsity competitions. It's actually like a really established thing in the UK. So, I had no idea I wanted to do pole until I was basically looking for, it's like my first few days at university, and I was just kind of like looking through the activities fair to try and find things I wanted to join. And I picked like a cappella club and and athletics, and also like orchestra. I really wanted to like continue with my music, and then also I saw this like pole with people like hanging off it in the corner. I was just kind of like, this is something crazy that I've never even really thought about doing before, so I'm just gonna sign up. I'm just gonna try it. They had like a free taster session. The queue was like down the street. It was huge. Like the queue was so big, and yeah, I managed to get in, and I was just absolutely hooked from day one. Like I remember the first session I had. Like the girl teaching it was like the president, and she was so confident, and I was just kind of like, I want to be like that. I want to be that confident. I want to be that, so like, yeah, just seeing her do the moves like effortlessly. I just wanted to be part of this, and just I yeah, basically the first few, for beginners, it's like really difficult because like everyone signs up at the beginning of the semester. So I actually didn't get like to do a class until like maybe half a year later.
Wow.
Which it was like they released like a block of lessons, and in 2 minutes they'd be all sold out. So it was really difficult to get a class. But once I got into it, it was kind of like on and off depending on how fast I was with them. But I started in 2016, and yeah, and it's been a dream ever since. Like I just got more and more involved. I was at medical school, so it was really intense, and I actually really didn't enjoy medical school. I enjoyed a lot of it, and I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing, but just getting through that process was really difficult for me. So I used pole as like an escape, and I got more involved from my second year in, out of 7 years. I became part of the committee, and I just worked myself up to president and competed and performed. I was just obsessed. I was obsessed. I was literally doing my lectures on my laptop in the pole studio, and just like, yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun looking back. But that's how I got into it.
There's just like so much to unpack from what we just said. One, I had no idea that you guys had like societies where you could that is amazing. Because
Yeah.
And like, mind you, not every place is the same in Canada, right? But I live about like 4 hours from Vancouver. It's pretty conservative. Like, pole dancing here is still like pretty taboo. And I have to convince people that it's fine. They can come and pole dance.
Yeah.
So for you to be able to like try it at school, at university, that's amazing. And I love that universities are open-minded and they like offer it. That is just
Mm.
amazing. And I love that you said like there was actually a lot of interest from
Yeah.
students.
Yeah, yeah. I would say they allowed us to exist, but they weren't super open-minded. Like there was a lot of, depending on like what university you went to, there were a lot of different universities that were really like they were really tight on like policing people's what they wear and like not allowing really sexy style and only like, pole fitness, really drilling that in. And I don't think I did my first heels class, like heels choreography class, until maybe like my fourth year in, and that was like really like out of the blue, like that was really new. So it wasn't. It was definitely all like tricks and stuff, and like I remember competitions back then. It was all like very like a sanitized version of pole. So yeah, that was the vibe back then. So since I came to London, since lockdown, basically, I started doing more like sexy style choreographies because I couldn't thrash around in my little apartment. I could only stay on the ground pretty much all the time. So I did more like choreographies, and that's when it all started. But since like moving to London, it's just like catapulted. Like my dancing is a lot more like that's more what I do now. Yeah.
I want to get like right into it because there's just so much I want to ask you. Like, I'm obsessed in the best kind of ways with you. One, you said you went to medical school. You're a doctor now. Can you give our listeners or viewer just a little bit of background of what kind of doctor you are, if you work full time, part time, kind of all that? Because I want us to touch a little bit about you being a doctor and then you existing in the pole dancing space as well.
Yeah. I graduated in the summer of 2022. So I'm still relatively new to my career. I'm 3 years in. This is my third year working. I'm a locum doctor. I'm a technically locum senior house officer, and I'll explain what that means. Basically, I worked as a foundation doctor. You graduate and you do a foundation training, which is like rotations, like 4 months you change jobs, like every 4 months you change jobs. And I did like a whole range of jobs, like 6 different ones in the 2 years, which I was a foundation doctor. And then after that, you can choose to like specialize, like pick your specialty. And in order to do that, you have to like do exams, interviews. You have to get into like a program. It's like a training program. So at this point, it's like a good time to like, if you want to, basically take a gap year. Take like a gap year, as many gap years as you want, as long as you like keep your like appraisal going. Like you keep like basically validating that you're still working, you're still a doctor, you're still like meeting the like proficiencies, like the requirements. And so yeah, after working full time for 2 years, it absolutely destroyed me because I kept up pole at the same time. I decided to take a locum year. I've always wanted to do this. It wasn't even like, oh, later on, did you decide to just go with the flow? I've decided since like the first, I don't know why, since like almost the first year of medical school, I was like, I want to just take time out and just like not rush it, because a lot of people are obsessed with being on this like conveyor belt, like towards the end, like becoming a I don't know if you call them attendings in Canada as well. They do in America, but basically like medical consultants, like to the top level, the last stage. Like you've done all of your exams, you're basically like the top specialist of that subject, of that specialty. A lot of people are like racing towards that, and I've always been someone that just wants to take my time. And maybe it's because like during university my health took a big hit and I had to take a year out. Well, I had to retake a year. I had to take a break and then retake a year. So that really reframed everything, because I was like, this stress is actually like affecting my, not just my mental health, my physical health. Like my body's having a physical reaction to this. So I need to calm down. I need to just like not push myself so hard that I'm literally making myself ill. So yeah. Did I answer the question? I can't remember.
Think, yeah, I think you touched up on it. I'm just impressed that you were able to be in medical school and still commit to like pole and training, because you would be what I would describe as like a high level poler. Like
Really?
if you came to like any studio by any means, I feel you would be in the advanced classes.
Oh,
And I'm
that's pretty
like,
kind. Thank you.
you're welcome. But I'm like, how did you manage to keep consistent on your training and go through medical school at the same time? Like, can you give us a little bit of that backstory as well? Like, how often would you train when you were in school? Like, how did you basically come to this level and
Hmm.
still do anything else?
uh, Basically, at the beginning, like when I was a beginner, it was once every week or once every 2 weeks, depending on like how fast I was able to grab the classes, book the classes before they sold out. Since I started competing, which was from my second or third year of university, I had to attend all of the training sessions. Like I started basically in as a group performance. So I remember like I had 5 other members. It was 6 of us because there would be 3 competition poles and 2 people on each one, and we do like acrobatic stuff as well. Since joining that, I realized it's actually like really serious. You have to meet like all the time. You have to choreograph. You have to just like, and we became very very close. Like these people that I competed with in my first ever competition, like they are my some of my best friends now. Like they're my lifelong friends basically. We got very close, and it just shows like how often we saw each other. So since then, I was just really hooked on the whole like camaraderie of that, and like making friends during the competitions. It never felt competitive either. Like you would meet other teams and you just like have a good time. You would never. Like, I was just kind of like, I just loved that atmosphere, so I just kept going back and kept going back. And obviously, that required me to like be there a lot. And also, I was a committee member, so I had to turn up. Like I had to do my job as well. Like yeah, I had to do my job as well as like do some training. So just because I loved it there so much, I would. I remember like towards the end, I would spend like 9 hours a week at the pole studio just because like I went to university at Edinburgh University in Scotland, like which is where I grew up, and that is a very walkable city. Like you can literally just walk everywhere, and so because of like the lack of needing to like commute somewhere, like I was just there all the time. So yeah, it's just out of pure joy and passion that I just wanted to, not even if I wasn't in the class, just like sit there and like be on my laptop and just like talk to people. Yeah, I was a bit obsessed. But then since moving to London, I and working, I found that really difficult. Like I basically reduced the amount of time I was spending in a studio by about like 70%. I was not making the classes because they were at, also yeah, the classes here are really expensive, and I was on like a first year foundation doctor salary, and we were doing strikes every month at the time, and they would cut our salary depending on how many days we would strike. So I had no money, and you know, like rent in London is really expensive, so I could not really afford to take any classes or have the time to go to them. So yeah, my training really took a hit because I just couldn't make it a lot of the time. So maybe like once or twice a month. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the most consistent person, and I'm actually, a lot of people are like really sad about that, but I'm lucky that I've never been like disappointed in myself or like sad about that, or like scared of losing certain tricks by not training them and stuff like that. I've always kind of like taken it like as it comes. Yeah, day by day, whatever happens, work with it, that kind of thing.
Did you have any like fitness background to being able to progress even though you weren't pulling consistently?
Um, I did running. I did sprinting. I did basically track and field. at school and university, some of university, and I feel like genetics also really play a part because I've always been like a very dense, muscly person. Even when like I wasn't doing any exercise, I just retain muscle quite well. Not flexibility though, because yeah, if you have a bit more muscle mass, it just is very tight. So like I don't, my flexibility did not come naturally to me, but I feel like I've always been a strong person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to touch up a little bit more on you being a doctor because I find that amazing and so interesting, right? Do people you work with know that you pole dance? Do you keep those world separate? How do you go about it?
Uh, yeah, it's funny because this came up like yesterday when a colleague found my pole Instagram. I was like, I found out he followed me and like he was liking my stories about work. And I felt I had like a visceral reaction to that because I was like, I don't know you that well, but um, I do talk about it. I do talk about it. I don't unless it's like a really awful day and I'm not like in the mood to talk to anyone about anything extra. Like I'm just there to do my job, which actually like I'm like that a lot. I'm very serious at work. I feel like I'm a different person at work. I'm very serious. Well, that work because I also work in pole. Um, I'm very serious and I just want to like get to the point. Like I kind of like can't be bothered because when things are so fast paced, and like people are the people that you're working with are changing all the time. Like I just don't really want to get into anything personal because I not because I want to hide it, just because like there's no time. There's no time. And but if people like I do have friends that are colleagues and I talk about it very openly. They like follow me on my account. I like talk about it in public places. I'm not I say that I wear pole as a badge of honor, which I do. I used to hide it a lot because I was told in medical school that I cannot be doing this. Like I will be struck off, I'll lose my license. Um, so I was terrified for a while that people knew, but since like joining both of like the aspects of my life together on such a public platform and figuring out how to do that correctly, I have been very open with it. Yeah, but I still don't want random men to follow me for reason. I don't know. I don't really. Yeah, it's hard to describe. But you know, when there's people that just sometimes make you a little bit uncomfortable for other reasons at work, you just don't really want them like knowing too much about you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that.
I feel like that's more than fair. I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people feel like that, and that's perfectly all right and normal, right? And then, like, I find that's like my word is interesting today. I just find you so interesting. And then, like, so clearly high achiever in your personal life, and you're now a doctor and stuff. You're also like a really high achiever in the pole world. I know you from Instagram. That's how I found you. And thank you for being on here today, being like, hey, can you be on? How did your social media platform start, and how did you grow it to what it is today?
I started it as a way to document poll stuff without having that spamming my personal account, because when I was doing competitions and stuff I was winning titles and I didn't want to always be posting about that, because some people don't want to, like, they don't care, or like I just wanted to have a separate thing to like document everything without feeling bad about it. um so that's why I started it. Like my first picture is actually of me competing when I decided to start this account. And getting to where I am now, I think I have just reached like 29,000. It started growing since I started sharing more about like my double life, I guess. Because my goal was to show people in my similar situation that you don't have to hide anything. Like there's such a big obsession in the like old fashioned medical world that like medicine and being a doctor has to control every single aspect of your life. Like I remember at university we would literally have lectures about like, oh, what should you do in this situation if like someone, I don't know, like you're on a night out and you post a picture of you holding a drink and you look like you're a bit drunk, and then the medical school might pull you up on that and like actually give you a hard time. So don't be doing that. And I'm just like, I feel like those days are over, or like they should be over, because like we're not like we are human beings, and like life now is just so different to how it was in like, I don't know, the 1930s. I don't know when they're like referring to that we have to act like this, but it was just really unreasonable boundaries that they were trying to impose on us. And on my last year of in my last year we had a professionalism lecture, and there was an anonymous chat, and you can ask them like different questions and they would answer them in like a Q&A format. And I asked, like, I am a pole dancer. I like perform and I judge and I teach classes. Like, is this something that I can still continue once I become a doctor? Because I'm literally about to graduate in like a few months. And obviously they said, no, you cannot do that. And it was like two men like heading it. So I should have thought like, oh, obviously they would say that. But at the time I was literally like, I was so sad that day, because I've been told it the whole time, and that just confirmed it. Like I can't continue something that I love the most, like arguably more than being a doctor sometimes. Like I love it. Yeah, actually, definitely, I love it so much. Yeah, I can't believe that these people who know nothing about me, who've got nothing to do with my life, are telling me what to do. So I basically started sharing as like an act of defiance. I tried to find some kind of balance, and I also searched on Google just like doctor pole dancer. Like I just tried to search. I was like, there must be other people. There must be. And I found one or two very, very tentative links towards like being a doctor or like a PhD, like someone who has a doctorate and like being a dancer. And I reached out to them, and that was kind of like a little bit comforting, but obviously there wasn't enough evidence for it to be like completely comforting. So I was just like, I'll just carve out my own route then. I don't actually, if they think that they can stop me from doing the thing that I love the most, then I don't want to be doing this job. I genuinely don't. Like, what kind of world do I live in that I have to stop something for something else? Like, I want to live exactly how I want to. So you can't tell me anything. So yeah, that's how that, since sharing those videos, I like a lot of them got like became viral, and then I had a lot more like teaching, like I started teaching more as well. So those videos also got shared, and yeah, I think my pole journey has kind of grown from that.
Can I ask you, because I'm so like immersed in the pole world, and obviously I am not a doctor. Um, what is kind of the boundary for them? Like, what were they fearful about you being a pole dancer and then being a doctor? Because I'm not really grasping, and this may be me being naive, but I'm not really sure what you doing a fitness sport on the side or performing in a more erotic way, like how would that make you less, not intelligent, but less valid as a doctor? Like, what
Yeah.
is the medical's point of view? Like those two guys that said like, oh no, you can't, like how do they validate that? Like how do they go about that?
Yeah. How did they go about that?
Yeah, like what is their point? Like, oh, patients aren't gonna listen to you if they know that you pull. Like,
It was like, yeah, basically, it was like a self-image thing. Like, if you do anything that could is stigmatizing, or if it affects your image, even down to like dyeing your hair, lol, and and like extra piercings or tattoos that are visible, it's just like they think that it's unprofessional. And also there was like a study in, I think, 2020, which was like led by 4 male vascular surgeons in the US. And it was on like professionalism and like what they deemed to be professional and what they deemed to be not professional. And this became like a huge piece of news, because in the paper, they deemed unequivocally that pictures of like female doctors who have pictures of them in bikinis at the beach, like they are deemed as unprofessional, and male doctors who have pictures of themselves on the beach wearing just like shorts is not unprofessional. And that was their like conclusion, like that was part of their conclusion basically. And they're just a huge wave of like women doctors posting themselves wearing bikinis, just being like, now fuck you. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fuck you to that, because that just shows how like patriarchal it is. Like, yeah, I feel like some people, especially the older generation, they still think of medicine as this like old man in like a white coat that you will see for the rest of your life, and they will also like look after your kids and your grandkids and stuff like that. It's not like that anymore. Yeah. So I think I'm quite a cheeky person as well, so I like pushing boundaries. No, I wouldn't say so. I was a very good child. I was a very good student as well, but in terms of like when it's out of order, I like to push back against that, because I like justice. I don't like them. I don't like being dictated to. Yeah.
I like that because I think you making such a point out of it will help other people down the line that may be in the same situation as you, to not have to give up a part of themselves and something that they do enjoy so much and brings them so much joy. And maybe like I feel, and I've had this conversation with other guests on as well, I feel pole dancing in general has been a little more mainstream since the pandemic, and then I hope it goes and it keeps that way, so then there's less and less taboo for people that do practice it in
Yeah.
whatever fashion they do.
Yeah.
I kind of This is so random and so like not important, but I bet that Peachy's not your real life name. How did you go by creating your online brand? Did you start from the beginning? You're like, I'm not going to use my own personal name. And
Yeah.
if so, because you're quite known in the pole world, and we'll go a little bit more about your competition and your performance down the line, but did you from the get-go kind of brand Peachy and then you've been growing with that, or have you kind of modify with time?
I've definitely not had. I didn't go into it with a vision of it becoming a brand, I would say. I just picked the name because it was cute. And yeah, I really like, my favorite fruits are peaches. I just love everything peach themed, peach flavored, peach colored. Like, because yeah, it's just really cute. Like, it's just like the perfect shade of pink, and like I just love everything to do with peaches. People think it's because it looks like an ass, like it looks like a butt, but which is like a very fortunate coincidence. Yeah, that does work that way. But I just love everything peach themed. Yeah, and I thought it sounded nice.
When
So,
did How long ago did you adopt Peachy?
oh, I think it was for my first ever professional like paid performance in 2022. So just before I graduated, I was selected to be a performer for Black Stage, which is like now like we've gone a bit more global because we've got global dancers that we recruit now. But yeah, it's a platform for people who don't know, a collective of dancers of color, originally in the UK, but now we kind of like branched out, and we also have connections with people from lots of people from different countries. And yeah, it was a very empowering space, and I was so amazed that I got selected, because yeah, I didn't expect it at all. And I thought, wow, like this is really pushing my own like comfort, because at the time I was like really torn between like, do I blend my two lives together? Do I not? Do I do this? Do I not? So I was like, okay, let's just to be safe, let's just go by Peachy. Like at the time, it sounded really weird to me. I was like, that's really weird. But what like, yeah, I don't want to use my real name just in case they see me flying to London in the middle of exams and performing and then coming back, because that would not look good, because that was what I was doing. It's like the biggest exams that like made me qualified, made me graduate. Yeah.
All right. I kind of want to get into Black Stage more. You kind of gave us a general little idea of what Black Stage is. I know what it is. I'm obsessed. I have a feeling that most of our viewers and listeners, because they are part of the pole community, would have an idea. But here is like my big general question. Can you tell us a little bit more exactly about Black Stage? And then you said your first performance with them was in 2022. Can you tell us how that first performance came about? How did you build a piece for it? How was performing? What is the process?
Okay, so Black Stage is yeah, like a company, a collective, a community that actually started in 2022, 2020. Well, she started, Layla, the founder, started the account in 2020. But she was just at the time featuring different people on her Instagram, and like, yeah, share so that it could be shareable. So that, because at the time, in 2020, the really unfortunate incident of the really tragic incident of George Floyd happened, and this huge wave of racism came to light, and it was a really hostile, awful, violent time for people of color, especially Black people at the time. And I, as an East Asian, as a Chinese British person, because of COVID, I faced a horrific amount of racism where I lived, and this was every day. It was in real life, like at the shops, on the street, everywhere. It was online. It was just, yeah, in the news. It was just awful. A really, really dark time for people of color. And so this account being made and this organization being created was just like a breath of fresh air, as because people didn't have something like that to bring everyone together and like celebrate everyone in like a joyous way, because every other piece of news was like a traumatic like piece of news, or like something sad that happened. Like everything was really, yeah, it was really like based and rooted in trauma, but this really just like brought everyone together and like celebrated everyone's differences. And so it started with one show, and then it became an annual show, and then there started being events, like different events. We had like a panel discussion one time. We've performed at music festivals. We've had like, yeah, just different in-person events. And what else? Yeah.
Can I how did you get involved with Black Sage? How did that first 2022 event happen for you?
Yeah. There was a call out for applications. So you would have to you had to send in a video of yourself and like write a cover letter, basically like outlining why you want to be part of this particular show, not just any show, like this particular show. Like, why do you want to apply for this? And I just basically talked a lot about what I just mentioned with my experiences with racism and like not really having a community. And feeling really strongly about the importance of this. And there were a lot of applications, and I didn't want to apply at first because I looked at the date of the show and it was in between two of my biggest exams. So but then I thought to myself, I probably won't get it, and if I don't apply anyway, I'll probably kick myself for not trying in the first place. So I just put an application in, and I was chosen. And yeah, I was like, oh my God, I have to do this now. It was really stressful. I was stretched. There's like a video somewhere of me stretching my splits while on my laptop, like studying. I was not in shape. I was not, I was like, which, yeah, there's nothing else that was expected really. It was months of studying, stress eating, crying. And so I was not feeling very good physically. And um, yeah, I decided to like basically put together a piece that really spoke to me and like my identity. And so it was a Chinese song. And I was using like a Chinese fan, like a long, flowy one. Um, and yeah, it came together in 2 days because I had one exam that I literally could not take any time off studying for it. It was going to be really hard, and it was really hard. I literally passed by like 2%, probably. And yeah, then literally 4 days later, I had to go to London. So yeah, I had 2 days, 2 or 3 days to do it. Yeah, that's how it came together.
Looking back, how do you feel about that first performance for Backstage? Are you still happy with your performance?
Looking back now, I'm so proud of myself because, like, oh my God, how much stuff I had on my plate. But at the time, I was really unhappy with it because I wasn't mentally in that space, and I was really nervous. It was my first like professional performance, and I was sharing a dressing room with Paige and Kiana, Justa Peachy and Kiana Walker, who were already really big. So I was like, oh my God, I'm just like this nobody from Scotland who like nobody knows, and like I'm sharing a dressing room with these two people, and they were stressing, and I was like, if you're stressing, then imagine how I'm feeling. So I was really out of it, and I remember nothing about the performance. It just happened, and people said that it was good, but I blacked out basically. I couldn't remember it. But I thought it was, looking back, I thought it was such a brave thing to do. Like, regardless of how it went, I think it went perfectly fine. I think that there was one moment where I was like waving the fan, and I tripped a little bit. It was literally the tiniest trip. I just like stepped to the side, and I remember hyper focusing on that and not wanting to watch the entire thing because of that one moment. Like, I was nitpicking so hard, being so hard on myself. So yeah, now obviously many years later, looking back, I feel very proud of myself. But at the time, I was not feeling it. But I had a great experience though. The whole show itself, the organization, like the experience was amazing. And since then, I've joined the core team for it as well.
Can you talk a little bit about that? What do you mean by I joined the core team?
So I am the social media manager. I do the promo for the show, for the platform. I edit and post things throughout the year, and I also do social media coverage on the show day, which is for like about 12 hours. I go to the events, as many events as I can, and I record things for like the Instagram and more. And I'm also involved in like the discussion of the organization, of different elements. Yeah. So it's been a really good experience, and it's really helped me be more comfortable with content creation as well. And I really think that I didn't think of myself as a content creator beforehand. I was just taking videos backstage, but since then I've taken it a lot more seriously, and I've had like collaborations with different brands and stuff, which has been exciting because I didn't expect to be able to do that.
And then you perform at this year's Black Stage as well.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about this year compared to the first year? How did you feel about it? How did you go about it? How do you, like, looking back, are you really happy with it?
Yeah. This year was insane. It was amazing. My performance, I think I found out in about January that I was going to be doing this. Yeah. maybe in December, January, and the show was in April, and I was going to be away for like an entire month and a half between like January and March. So I really didn't have that much time to prepare, but I also became really ill. I like have a chronic illness, like a chronic condition, which flares up every now and then. I didn't expect it to flare up ever. Like the first round of treatment that I had was supposed to get rid of it for 2/3 of people who have it, and unfortunately, mine flared up like literally a month before the show, 1 or 2 months before the show, and I lost all of my strength. Like I couldn't invert, I couldn't like dance for more than 30 seconds at a time. Like it was so tired, and like it affected me in so many different ways. So this year's performance was like a different, like it was, I felt proud of myself, and I felt like it was exactly what I wanted, but in a different way. Like I expected myself to be able to do the usual crazy tricks that I usually want to do. And obviously, with the weakness and the fatigue, I couldn't do any of that. So I had to completely reframe it, completely redo my routine, to the point where I was still choreographing maybe like 3 or 4 days before. It felt like a very familiar echo to the first show. And I was like, oh my God, why can't I just have one time that's like drama, like physical body drama free? Like, why can't I just be well for one? But yeah, I'm very pleased with what I brought to the stage, and I felt that it was still in my essence, and I am very, yeah, proud of myself for still getting up and doing it despite everything.
You were pretty transparent, pardon, on your platform about going through your flare up. How do you feel like the community responded to that? One, I loved how transparent you were about it. I feel like for a lot of people, social media is always like a highlight, and you always see kind of like people doing these crazy things and having the best time. So I
Yeah,
really appreciated seeing kind of the background of that. Like people go through hardships, right? And not everything always goes as planned, but you kind of, like you said, you can kind of reevaluate and recenter what the expectations on what you can produce. How do you feel like people that do follow you reacted to you being so open about what you were going through at that time?
um, I had so much support. I was really shocked about it. And the reason that I decided to share was because I really wanted to I really didn't want my Instagram to be a highlights reel, and I wanted to just, yeah, I don't want people to assume that, like, as a professional dancer, that I'm okay all the time. Like, just how I don't assume that other people are at the top of their game all the time. I think a lot of Instagram now is about like aesthetics and also like achievement, and it can be really refreshing to me to see someone who I have really high regard for and still have high regard for sharing about something that they have been struggling with. So yeah, and also like with the symptoms and everything, if I knew what to look out for the first time, I would probably have been treated a lot earlier. And yeah, if it helped someone like figure out, oh, maybe I have this, I'll go see a doctor, then I wanted to have that as like a like raising awareness as well, because not many people know what it is. So yeah, I've had quite a lot of support. I've had some skepticism, like people thinking that I don't look like someone who's ill or someone who has a long-term condition, which has been a bit disheartening, but that's not been that many. Is I Yeah, the support definitely like outweighs that.
I love that. And then I really also enjoy asking guests that are on the podcast more and more. Can you tell us in your personal life and as a professional pole dancer, what would be your next goals or things you're looking forward to? Anything of kind of like that?
Yeah. My next goals are probably to teach more. Like to teach more in different countries. Yeah, my goal this year is, yeah, when it was New Year, one of my goals this year was to teach abroad, and I already have done classes in Singapore, which was amazing. And then I've been booked for Las Vegas in September, which is insane. And I just want to do that more and more. Like, I want to travel, and I love traveling. I love seeing new places, but also like teaching and sharing and meeting new people who like are passionate about the same things in those places too. It's just extra amazing to me. So yeah, I love teaching so much. But I was part of a studio which wasn't the best in terms of like organization and valuing their employees. So I was a bit disheartened by that, and I decided to stop working there in December. So that felt like closing a door, but I didn't know that it was going to open the door to a few other things. So I hope it just keeps going, basically, and yeah, and train a bit more with different people, not have specific strength or flexibility goals, because as I am experiencing now, it's so hard to predict when things are not going to basically revert back to maybe more like years ago. Yeah, it's been really hard, but I've really managed my expectations with my body, and I still can do different things. Maybe not the same things, and it will always come back. Like, I have that mentality that it will always come back. So I don't like having like move goals, because I know sometimes this something unpredicted might happen, and yeah, and that's fine.
That is more than fine. I love that. And then I'm not going to keep you on here forever. I think we're ready to move on to the last segment of the show, which is called The Last Grip. These are just like easier, fun questions. You can give us as much or as little details as you want. Are you ready, Peachy, for the last grip?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Oh my God. Peachy, I think there's only like two guests that's ever said tea. Everybody's a coffee person. Can you tell us your favorite song to dance to right now?
Favorite song?
Yeah, or I will also accept, I've been accepting this favorite artist that you're blasting in the
Yeah.
background when you're training, when you're dancing.
Let me search. It's a song called Eros by. It's this one, Eros by Xandros. It's on Spotify. It's so slow and sensual. It has like a really good beat. Just makes me feel really good, and like yeah, it's like very chill and sexy. I love it.
I love that. Can you tell us your most loved pole outfit or accessory?
My most loved pole outfit is definitely one that I've worn so many times, but I don't care anymore. It's literally a bikini that I got off Vinted, and it's like red and metallic, and it's shiny. It's really cool.
I love it. Heels or barefoot?
Oh, this is so hard. It's literally 50-50 for me. But at the moment, I prefer heels.
Can you give us one word to describe your relationship with pole?
That's a good question. It would, I would say probably ever changing or wholesome.
That. Do you
Yeah,
prefer spin or static?
I prefer spin.
Choreo or tricks?
At the moment, definitely choreo, because I can do it more.
Morning practice or evening practice?
Evening practice. I can't get up in the morning.
Do you have a love or a hate of conditioning?
I never do it, so I hate it. Probably, but yeah, I never do it.
That is very honest. And
Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't
it's
do it.
all right. You're not the first one, right? Can you tell us two or three people that we should know exist, that we should be following, that you really enjoy following?
Oh, um, definitely Black Stage, and that's not even from a biased perspective. You are exposed to so many incredible, talented dancers from all over the world, all different backgrounds. Yeah, Black stage. Someone who's really inspiring me right now. I would say follow as many like strippers as you can, because strippers are so important to this community. The two friends I have in mind who I've just messaged today is Destiny, which is, do I need to say the handles?
We would love it.
Destiny, yes. Destiny is spelled with two I's, and then it's got an underscore and an X at the end. And then Nova Storm, Nova, Nova, Storm with a double M at the end. I just love them so much, and I just think that like they're so raw about their experiences, and like it's so important as people who are allies. It's important to be an ally in the first place, but it's important for people to understand like how different it can be to be a fitness person or a pole dancer who's actively working in clubs and as a sex worker. So yeah, it's important to, as we say, pole is evolving all the time, but sometimes it feels like that evolving process is still leaving them behind, which is not something that needs to that can't be happening, because they were the pioneers of pole. So yeah, follow strippers. They're awesome. I always say they're just normal people, except they're much cooler than you will ever expect. Yeah.
I find them mesmerizing to look at. I just like
Yeah.
awe.
Yeah.
All right. Can you tell us your nemesis move or a family of moves that you really don't enjoy or that you have a hard time getting or anything kind of that way?
A family of moves is probably like middle split moves, like something that requires middle split or pancake, like spatchcock, for example. I wouldn't say I've tried it many times because it literally feels like I'm being ripped in half. But yeah, like middle split or over split moves, because I can't do that at the moment.
Finish on a positive note. Can you tell us your favorite move or your favorite family of moves?
Oh, my favorite move has always been the survival spin. It used to be called the suicide spin, but I feel like survival spin is like more apt. But yeah, just that without any hands. So you just put your leg on and then you fall forward. I love it so much.
That is
Yeah,
terrifying.
it's terrifying, but I love terrifying moves. I have no sense of danger.
And see, I think I would put that in one of my nemesis. I'm terrified of it. And one of my teachers always like, oh, we're going to do it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die today.
Oh.
I'm not going to take any more of your time. Thank you so much for being on today, Peachy. It was such a fun conversation, so interesting. And I feel like you're really bringing so many valid points of view. And I hope our listeners and our viewers give you a follow and they can kind of reflect on our conversations today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been really great. I love podcasts.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Between the Poles. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Stay connected with us on social media, and we'll see you next time right here, Between the Poles.